Hello and welcome to Late Night Stories. The night was still, a blanket of stars stretching endlessly above. James had always been a skeptic, dismissing the mystical as mere fantasy. But tonight felt different. There was a pull, an unseen force calling him beyond the confines of his body. He lay in bed, his breath slowing, his mind drifting between wakefulness and dreams. And then it happened. A sensation like a gentle tug at his core, a weightless feeling that sent shivers through his spine. As he exhaled, his vision blurred and he felt himself slipping away from the physical world, floating into the unknown. At first there was only darkness, a quiet void that cradled him in silence. Then, like embers igniting in the night, light blossomed around him. James gasped, realizing he was no longer in his bed but hovering above it. He saw himself lying there, peaceful, undisturbed. A rush of exhilaration filled him. Was this real? Was he dreaming? A voice not spoken but felt echoed through his being. "You are beyond the veil now." James turned, or at least, he thought he did. Movement felt different here, as though thought alone dictated action. He gazed into the vast cosmic expanse before him, a sea of stars swirling in a mesmerizing dance. Nebulae pulsed with ethereal hues of blue, purple, and gold, their light shimmering like living breath. A presence approached, radiating warmth and wisdom. "You have left your earthly tether," the being conveyed. "What you seek lies ahead." James hesitated. "Who are you? What is this place?" "You have stepped beyond the confines of the physical world, where consciousness roams free." The being extended a luminous hand, and with a mere thought, James found himself soaring through the celestial tapestry. He passed through glowing rings of energy, each pulsating with an ancient hum. He could feel them, memories, thoughts, echoes of souls who had walked this path before him. He realized then that he was not alone in this journey. The stars whispered secrets as he drifted through realms unseen by mortal eyes. He saw worlds untouched by time, cities made of light, beings of pure energy weaving through the cosmos. Every moment expanded his understanding, unraveling truths he had never dared to consider. In the distance, a great swirling mass of energy pulsed like a heartbeat. "The source," the being beside him said. "The origin of all things. Here, knowledge is boundless, and time is but an illusion." James felt drawn toward it, his very essence resonating with its call. As he neared, images flooded his mind. Visions of past lives, of civilizations rising and falling, of his own soul's journey across millennia. He saw himself in another era, another form, gazing at the same stars with the same longing. "Everything is connected," the voice whispered. "You have always been, and you will always be." James felt overwhelmed, yet at peace. He reached out, his fingertips brushing against the energy, and in that instant, he understood. Love, fear, creation, destruction. They were all part of the same grand design. He was a thread in an infinite tapestry, woven into the very fabric of existence. And then a shift, a pull from the other side. His physical form was calling him back. "It is time," the being said. "But remember, this is not the end. It is only the beginning." James felt himself being drawn away, the cosmos fading into a blur. Stars became streaks of light, the hum of the universe growing distant. The weight of his earthly body returned, grounding him once more. With a gasp, he opened his eyes. He was back in his bed, his room bathed in the soft glow of moonlight. His heart pounded, his breath unsteady. Had it been a dream? A hallucination? He sat up, his hands trembling. But as he moved, he noticed something. His fingertips still tingled, as if they had touched something far beyond human comprehension. James looked out his window, the night sky stretching before him. The stars, once distant, now felt like familiar friends. He smiled, whispering to the cosmos, "I will return." For he knew now, beyond the veil, an infinite journey awaited. Thank you for listening to our story. Do you feel better now? You can share your thoughts in the comments so we can strive to bring you even more satisfaction. Without keeping you waiting any longer, we'll now take your soul on a journey to the next story. The stillness of the night wrapped around Martha like a warm, familiar embrace. She had spent the past few months struggling with sleep, her mind restless with memories of the past and worries about the future. Her body, once strong and full of life, now ached with the weight of time. It was during one of these sleepless nights that she stumbled upon a guided meditation promising deep relaxation and spiritual exploration. Skeptical but desperate for peace, she settled into her recliner, closed her eyes, and pressed play. The soft voice of the guide whispered, "Breathe in deeply and let go of everything holding you back." Martha followed the instruction, inhaling slowly, feeling her chest rise, then exhaling, releasing all tension. The voice continued, "Imagine yourself weightless, floating above your body, beyond the room, beyond the walls of your home. You are drifting, light as air, into the infinite sky." She felt a strange tingling in her fingers, a sensation that traveled up her arms, through her chest, and into her mind. It was as if she were truly rising, separating from her physical self. The aches and stiffness of her body dissolved into nothingness. The stars above no longer seemed distant, but rather a path leading her toward something grander than she had ever known. With each breath, the world she had always known shrank beneath her, the streets of her town becoming ribbons of golden light, the earth itself transforming into a radiant sphere. The meditation guide spoke again. "You are now free to explore beyond the physical realm. Let go and trust the journey." Martha hesitated, but curiosity pushed her forward. She drifted effortlessly, drawn toward a vast ocean of stars that shimmered like tiny beacons of possibility. Nebulae swirled in colors she had never seen before, deep purples, electric blues, and fiery golds that pulsed with a rhythm as if the universe itself were breathing. Ahead, a glowing figure emerged, radiating warmth and wisdom. "Welcome, traveler," the figure said, though its lips never moved. The words resonated within her mind, not heard but understood. "You have crossed the veil between the physical and the infinite. What is it you seek?" Martha thought for a moment. Peace? Understanding? A sense of belonging? Finally, she answered, "I don't know. I just felt drawn here." The figure nodded. "That is the call of the soul. Come, let me show you." Together, they moved through the celestial expanse, passing through corridors of light that pulsed with memories, not just hers, but the echoes of countless souls who had come before. Martha saw moments from her own life playing out as if on a grand cosmic stage: her childhood home, her first dance, the birth of her children, the laughter of her late husband John. Each memory shimmered, wrapped in golden threads of time. All moments exist at once, the figure explained. Time is but a perception. What you love, what you have lost, still exists in the energy of the universe. Tears welled in her eyes as she reached out toward John's laughter, hearing it echo through the stars. "Can I stay?" she asked, the longing in her heart stronger than ever. The figure placed a gentle hand on her shoulder. "Not yet, but I can show you how to carry this peace with you." Martha breathed in deeply, absorbing the warmth, the love, the eternal connection that bound her to everything she had ever known. She felt lighter, as if the burden of time had lifted. The stars seemed to hum, a melody both ancient and new, wrapping around her like a lullaby. "It is time to return," the figure whispered. "Remember what you have seen. Remember that you are never truly alone." The sensation of floating shifted, pulling her gently back. The stars blurred, the nebulae faded, and soon she was aware of the chair beneath her once more. She opened her eyes, the glow of the room soft and warm. The recording had ended, but the peace within her remained. For the first time in years, Martha felt whole. The night outside was just as dark as before, but it no longer felt empty. She had touched something eternal, something beautiful, and she knew she would return. Perhaps not tonight, but someday. She settled into her chair, a soft smile on her lips, and closed her eyes once more, letting the memory of the cosmos lull her into the deepest, most restful sleep she had ever known. The night was warm, the air filled with the scent of blooming jasmine. Lillian sat in her backyard, a soft breeze playing with her long, wavy hair. She had always been fascinated by the stars, but lately, something inside her longed for more than just their distant beauty. She craved an experience, something beyond the mundane rhythm of daily life. That night, she found herself drawn to her hammock, a place she often used for reading or quiet reflection. But this time, as she lay back, something was different. The world around her shifted, and the sky above seemed to pulse with a life of its own. Lillian felt weightless, as if the fabric of reality had softened. The hammock cradled her like a gentle cocoon, swaying in the rhythm of an unseen force. The deep navy sky above her shimmered with celestial light, and the moon, larger than she had ever seen, glowed with a pinkish hue. It radiated warmth, as though it were alive, watching over her like an old friend. Her fingers trailed along the woven patterns of the hammock, each thread glowing faintly under the moon's light. Hanging from the wooden supports were dream catchers, their beads and feathers swaying in a rhythm synchronized with the universe itself. The moment felt sacred, as if she had been invited into a hidden realm where time slowed and the soul could roam free. "Relax," a voice whispered, not from outside, but within her own heart. "Let go." Lillian exhaled deeply, her body sinking into the hammock's embrace. A soft hum filled the air, and as she gazed at the glowing moon, she felt a pull, gentle but undeniable. Before she could process the sensation, her body lifted, separating from itself in a way that felt entirely natural. She wasn't afraid. Instead, a profound peace settled over her as she drifted upward, her physical form staying behind while her spirit soared toward the sky. The first thing she noticed was the quiet, not an absence of sound, but a kind of silence that carried wisdom. She was surrounded by stars, each one pulsing like a heartbeat. The moon, now impossibly close, revealed swirling patterns on its surface, as though it held the secrets of the universe within its glow. A figure emerged from the light. A woman draped in celestial fabric, her gown woven with constellations. Her eyes were endless, reflecting galaxies upon galaxies. "Who are you?" Lillian asked, her voice steady despite the wonder she felt. "I am a guide," the woman answered, "and you have been chosen to see beyond the veil." Lillian didn't question how or why. Something in her soul knew she had been waiting for this moment all her life. What am I meant to learn? The guide extended her hand, and as Lillian took it, a flood of sensations washed over her. She saw Earth from above, its blues and greens vibrant against the cosmic backdrop. But more than that, she felt it the heartbeat of the planet, the pulse of every living thing, connected and intertwined. We are all part of the same thread, the guide said. Every breath you take is shared with the wind that moves the oceans, the trees that stretch toward the sun, the people who walk the streets below. Nothing exists in isolation. Lillian's heart swelled. She had always felt separate, as if she were merely an observer of life rather than an active participant. But here, in this vast celestial space, she understood. She belonged to everything, and everything belonged to her. The stars around her began to swirl, and suddenly she was no longer floating in the cosmos, but standing in a magnificent temple of light. The walls pulsed with energy, and in the center stood an enormous mirror, its surface shimmering like liquid silver. "Look within," the guide instructed. Lillian stepped forward, hesitating only for a moment before gazing into the reflection. What she saw was not just her physical form, but every version of herself, past, present, and future. She saw the child she had once been, full of dreams and boundless curiosity. She saw the woman she had become, shaped by both joy and sorrow. And then she saw something more. The version of herself yet to be, standing tall, radiant with purpose and wisdom. Tears pricked her eyes. "I had forgotten," she whispered, "forgotten who I truly am." The guide smiled. "You have always known. You simply needed to remember." As Lillian continued to look, the mirror's surface rippled, revealing glimpses of the people in her life, her family, her friends, even strangers she had crossed paths with. Each one was connected to her by threads of golden light. "Love is the binding force of the universe," the guide said. "When you return, carry this knowledge with you. Live with intention, with kindness, with wonder." Lillian nodded, her soul absorbing every word, every vision. She felt full of light, of understanding, of something infinite yet deeply personal. The air around her shifted once more. The temple of light faded, replaced by the familiar glow of the pink-hued moon. The celestial guide's presence softened, merging with the stars, until Lillian was alone once more, cradled in the cosmos. "It's time to return," the voice whispered gently. Lillian didn't resist. She allowed herself to drift downward, back toward her body, back toward the hammock that awaited her like an anchor to the waking world. With a deep inhale, her eyes fluttered open. The night was still, the scent of jasmine unchanged, yet everything felt different. The moon still hung in the sky, but now she saw it not as a distant rock, but as a beacon of memory, a reminder of the journey she had taken. She sat up slowly, her hands resting on the hammock's woven fabric, the dream catchers swaying gently beside her. Had it all been a dream, a trick of the mind? Perhaps. But as she looked at her hands, she noticed faint traces of stardust lingering on her fingertips. A knowing smile spread across her lips. She had seen beyond the veil, and she would never see the world the same way again.
you.